And so, since I'm not any kind of expert on his library, I thought that we would look at Rush Limbaugh's best quotes. Because, I mean, he has some really good ones. And I don't know what they were thinking by making everyone read these. Because, well, is he wrong? You know, the where's the lie comment is...
That's going to be the question of every quote, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, because, like, you know, where's the lie, Jessica? That was the question. Right, so he's got a bunch that I don't really know, right? So he talks about the NFL looking like a game between the Bloods and Crips without any weapons. There, I said it.
Limbaugh. You do get that reference, right?
The Bloods and Crips are gang,
Yeah,
right? Gang warfare in LA or something.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't follow NFL, so I don't know if that's an accurate representation. But like, obviously, it was offensive because he was like, "There, I said it." The NAACP should have riot rehearsal. They should get a liquor store and practice robberies. I mean, that's Jesus Christ.
Jesus, man.
Disavow. To a black woman caller on his program, he said, "Take that bone out of your nose and call me back." Which again, just like, okay, disavow, man. That is. Like
I find it hard to actually trust this person here because I know they're a leftist, so they're probably messing with the context as well. But if we're just going to accept it on face value...
What is the context, though?
I don't know, man. But I am sus of all of these, but I am willing to accept it on face context for now.
I agree, but I mean, there'd have to be some very interesting context for that. To be really offensive.
I mean, if she was wearing like a nose ring or something...
Even then, it could probably be more sensitively framed,
certainly
right?
Certainly could.
Black Americans are 12% of the population. Who the hell cares? Jesus. There are more American Indians alive today than there were when Columbus arrived or any other time in history. Does that sound like a record of genocide? I don't think we're allowed to make comment about that sort of thing. Okay, if you
Look how free the radio sounds.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And that's actually one of the things. What was interesting about researching this is one of the quotes from him was when he was growing up, he'd hear the commentators on the radio who just sounded like they were free and happy, and he really envied it. He was like, "Oh, I want to be like that," and it's like, well, I guess you are. You can just say whatever you like, apparently. Unlike on YouTube, where you can hardly say anything. But he says, if you feed the children 3 square meals a day during the school year, how can you expect them to feed themselves in the summer? Wanton little waifs and serfs dependent on the state, pure and simple. Well, that's kind of true, to be honest. They're out there protesting what they actually wish would happen to them sometimes, he said, commenting on women protesting about sexual harassment.
Jesus.
Sounds like Milo.
It does sound like Milo, actually.
Yeah, disavow. I mean, Christ. Anyway, moving on. So what does it say about college co-ed Susan Fluke, who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex? What does that make her? It makes her a slut, right? It makes her a prostitute. I wish I knew the context of this.
I don't even know who that is.
No, but I think this is about birth control. It's about being paid, having her birth control paid for. And so, like, I mean, the framing is rigid, if I can use that word. Okay, and so he says, so Miss Fluke and the rest of you feminazis, here's the deal. If we are going to pay for your contraceptives and thus pay for you to have sex, we want something. We want you to post the videos online so we can all watch.
See, but this is what I mean. Like, he's like someone's dad.
He got that future, didn't he? It's on OnlyFans, mate. It's gone like that's.
Well, not even OnlyFans. Like, I mean, most websites are filled with that stuff for free.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. It's like, okay, well, I mean, that kind of happened, buddy. So,
but like, all of these just sound like something your dad would say when you're out drinking or something.
Yeah, I know, it's quite hilarious, isn't it?
But I reckon that's why he's got such a good audience, and it's why the leftists can't stand it.
Doubtless. He's clearly effective at pointing out certain things, but I love the way he coined the term feminazi, which I guess we should probably thank him for at this point. There are more the American Indian ones. So it's preposterous that Caucasians are blamed for slavery when they've done more to end it than any other race. If any race of people should not have guilt about slavery, it's Caucasians.
Well, that's true.
That is true.
I mean, literally, if you want to think in racial terms, then sure, that's the race that ended slavery. Specifically English. It is the English Caucasians who did that.
Yeah. But good for the Americans for ending in America. Well done.
got there in the end. But you did
eventually,
get there a lot sooner than a lot of other countries.
Well, like the Saudis, who didn't abolish slavery until 1963, and that was again only under great duress. Like they didn't want to. But I mean, he's
also
not...
something to remember. The Arab slave trade. The reason there's not so many black people in the Arab world is because when they imported their slaves, they would cut off their genitalia.
They would.
So,
and not just the testicles either. The whole thing.
All of it.
It's awful, absolutely awful. But yeah, I mean, so he's not wrong there, to be honest. And there was another one as well that I actually don't think I have, but it was about how white people had fewer slaves for a shorter amount of time than anyone else. And I think he might actually be right there too, because the Arab slave trade went on for over 1,000 years.
But it also didn't end until like the 1900s at the soonest.
Exactly, yeah. It began in like the 8th century or something, 7th century. And so, yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. You know, this is the thing. He's just presenting these facts in a blunt way, like your dad when you're out drinking. So you go to Darfur and you go to South Africa, you get rid of the white government there, you put sanctions on them, you stand behind Nelson Mandela, who was bankrolled by communists for a time, and he had the support of certain communist leaders. That's true. He was supported by communist leaders. What's the name of the parties? You've got the EFF, who are...
The ANC or whatever?
Yeah, the ANC, who are socialists, then the EFF, who are just insane communists, who want to kill white people, and are just open about wanting to kill white people. So, okay.
Yeah, well, this is the thing throughout all Africa as well. All the, let's say, anti-colonial movements, to be polite, were all backed by Soviets,
communist.
or backed by China, or backed by North Korea in some cases, Zimbabwe.
Yep.
Then, yeah, okay. What's wrong with stating that fact? They admit it. Like, the Soviet Union is proud of it. They made propaganda posters showing that they were funding it.
Yeah, this is what the KGB did, is mostly subversion. It's like, okay, this is what Yuri Bezmenov tells us, and I believe him. But have you ever noticed how all composite pictures of wanted criminals resemble Jesse Jackson?
Like, all the hate crimes are actually him.
Yeah. A lot of young people are spending a lot of time on the World Wide Web. I assume this is an old quote. I came across a post last night of all places, Gawker. It's basically a militant homosexual site. Not militant, a gay site. Agree.
Aren't they gone now?
Yeah,
they
are.
got sued by Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, they got sued out of existence by Hulk Hogan because they published his sex tape and wouldn't take it down.
After moaning at everyone about revenge porn being so evil.
Yes, and Gawker was actually an absolute hole as well. Like, it was run by, was it Nick Denton? Was it Nick Denton? I think it was his name. But the guy was gay, and he spent a lot of time outing homosexuals. And it's like, why are you doing that? That seems awful. But so yeah, it's good that it's gone. But Trump's reaction, of course, was one of profound sympathy for Rush, because he and Rush had been friends for some time, and of course he agreed with his political persuasion. And so he said, he's had an incredible instinct for politics, he had an incredible instinct for life, he's a legend, and there aren't too many legends around. Then he put out a statement on Gab, which is obviously just more calm, but... Rush was a patriot, a defender of liberty, and someone who believed in the greatness of our country, all the greatness of our country stands for. Rush was a friend to myself and millions of Americans, a guiding light with the ability to see the truth and paint vivid pictures over the airwaves. Melania and I express our deepest condolences to his wife, his family, and all of his dedicated fans. He will be missed greatly. Exactly what you'd expect, really. The sort of, unvarnished praise coming from the great golden face of the God Emperor and his various supporters. But apparently Rush was a fairly good guy, actually, by virtue of action. If you ignore the fact that he says offensive things on the radio, he apparently liked to throw down massive tips. So sometimes up to $5,000. And apparently he'd left millions and millions of dollars in tips over the decades, which is a very interesting thing to do. And he had also raised millions for charity, as Jack Posobiec points out. He raised $47 million for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society over the course of his radio show and annual telethons with matching donations. And I like this. I still have some of the T-shirts. I used to buy them every year. That's really nice. So there's some wholesomeness there as well. And I guess we'll finish this bit with the clip of Rush Limbaugh getting the Presidential Medal of Honor.
Medal of Freedom.
A Medal of Freedom, sorry.
In recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.